This is the House of Parliament where men and women have sat for decades, making decisions that would affect all our lives. Do they really work in the interests of the people or themselves? They sit at the round tables, trying to decipher which way to turn. Is it left or is it right? Have the people benefited from those decisions? Our people have suffered for far too long. Change should not be a figment of the imagination, but reality. Every boy, every girl, every man, every woman are equally important. The market vendor joyfully sells her produce. The fish vendor skillfully uses his cutlass to cut the fish. Keep on working. Let your smile be your motivation. Build a community of brotherly and sisterly love. Don't give up on your dreams. Surround yourself with positive thinkers. Think big and keep on moving. Keep pushing the envelope. Yes, push that envelope until you have succeeded. You may have made many mistakes, but that is no reason to stop. Don't you dare give up. Get ready for that overflow. Get ready for that breakthrough. The overflow is coming. Showers of blessings. Stay cool. Stay calm. Stay collective. Ride the rough waves of life. Hold on to that rope tightly. Just keep working. Keep moving. Keep believing. Self-motivation. I am here. It may be morning where you are. It may be nighttime where you are. It may be in the afternoon where you are. But I am here. We are going to higher heights in that we appear any time of the day. Expect us. So welcome to my Lies and Deceit show. Many of you may be able to catch a glimpse of me now because we are in different time zone. I am Soraya Alexander from the beautiful island of St. Lucia. Many of you follow me. I have 61,000 plus followers. So in my mind, I said I had to cater to all my followers. We'll be talking about a diversity of various issues, and we'll be here, just spontaneously to talk to you. So I'm your host, Soraya Alexander, and the name of my show is Lies and Deceit. However, we will be taking it globally. So stay tuned and like my page, follow my page. Hello to all my Facebookers. How are y'all? And hello to all my YouTubers. Now, guys, in the Caribbean right now, we all are preparing for this tropical wave that may turn into a tropical storm coming to our various islands. And we understand that hurricanes, storms, even a tropical depression can be very, very devastating on the economy of a country. And today we are going to talk about how devastating these storms can be to our livelihoods. And we also have experienced what COVID did to us. COVID ransacked the nations globally. We had many deaths. We had people losing their jobs. So we are moving away from COVID, and now we are into the hurricane season, and especially for the small island developing states, it is going to be one that is very, very, very critical, because the small islands developing states, they are not diversified in their economy. So you find they are always dependent on foreign governments, on the World Bank, on the IMF to get finances, to get assistance. So we are going to show you today how hurricanes can be very, very, very devastating. So my show, if you are new to my show, because we're airing at a different time, just expect us. We are very spontaneous. We support the show by you purchasing a coffee. If you enjoy me coming here to present information to you, you can support me as a creator. Buy me a coffee, which is international, and we have like over 500,000 creators using this platform. So here is your way to support me. The link is pinned at the bottom of the page or at the top, wherever it is. You can go in there and purchase coffee or coffees for me. Support the show. We want open-minded people to join our movement. So we'll just give you a video. We'll take a coffee break, give you the video so you could understand how to buy me a coffee, and I will be back with you shortly.
Hello everyone. Today we'll be learning how to show your support for Soraya Alexander through memberships and coffees. Okay, so first up guys, you need to keep this link in mind, buymeacoffee.com/Soraya Alexander. So let's go on and head on to the site. So of course you are greeted with Miss Alexander Buy Me a Coffee page. You'll scroll down to the bottom where you'll see support or membership. So of course the support option is to purchase your coffee. So we don't want to purchase 1, 3 or 5, we want to purchase a custom amount. So we'll put it right here and select 10. So of course for you guys who like to be anonymous, the name and say something nice option is optional to you. So if you would like to do that, you can, or do as you please. But in this case, I'm going to be entering a name. And I'm going to be saying something nice. I'm going to say, love your show. Keep it coming. All right. And also we know some of you have messages that you don't intend for everyone to see. So you can simply select the option, make this message private. So we're going to go ahead and press the support button. On the support page, you are greeted with the email and card number. So of course you go ahead, we're going to put johndoe@hotmail.com, and in this case we're going to be using a dummy card number, but in your case you will enter your real valid card number. So of course you put your month, your year, and the CVC of your card, and of course you will select the I'm not a robot option for verification. So this is simply how you go ahead and purchase your coffee. Simple. So now guys, we're going to go ahead and get a membership. So as you could see, we have different levels of membership, so you can choose what you like, whichever one you prefer. You go ahead and select that. So you just press the join button, and then you're greeted whether you want to take that membership per month or per year. So we're gonna go ahead and start filling in our details. We're gonna put our email, johndoe@hotmail.com, and in this case your name is required. So, and your email, so we're gonna go ahead and put a name. We're gonna put John Doe, and we are gonna see something nice. We're gonna see love your show. Now, like before, as we saw guys, you have the option to make this message private. So you could just go right here, tick, and that message is private. So of course you press the join, and then you go ahead and you enter your card, and so on and so on. And of course you verify that you are not a robot. Now on this page you also have the option, because I know some of you guys may want to take more than the allotted membership, so you can simply use the free option, predefined options for you, and add it 5, 10, 15, whatever as you wish. Okay, so guys, this is actually the full tutorial. This is how you go ahead and purchase your coffee. This is how you go ahead and purchase your membership. So I want to say thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope this video was as informative as it could be. This was Akeem Ernest. See ya.
So remember, click on that link and go support my show and buy me many coffees. Be a champion for truth. Okay, so click on that link and buy me many coffees. Now my people, today our topic is how hurricanes affect our GDP, affect our economy. And this happens not only to St. Lucia, but around the world. How storms, depressions, and hurricanes affect us. Because we had a Hurricane Elsa last year, July, and there were damages done to houses, to homes, and sadly, and to crops also, right? And sadly, we had someone losing their lives. So when you think about we being in the hurricane season, it is very important that not only the people of St. Lucia or around the world understand how these systems can be devastating to the people of any nation, any island. And we know that many Caribbean islands, they are not diversified in their economy. And how do they survive? How do they really survive? And I'm going to show you footage of Hurricane Maria, how that hurricane devastated a nation. So just have a look and we will get into some further discussion.
The French island of Martinique is being battered by strong winds, and this is just the start. Hurricane Maria is strengthening rapidly, packing winds of more than 200 kilometres an hour and bringing torrential rains. Residents on the east coast are being told to leave. And coming hot on the heels of Hurricane Irma, the Caribbean is braced for more fury and misery. On St. Kitts, they're preparing for the worst.
The most we can do now is to ensure that our people stay indoors and safe. The wind is very, very, very strong right now. I'm actually at my home and you can hear my windows pounding, my shutters pounding, you know?
US forecasters say Maria is a potentially catastrophic hurricane. This is the predicted route. The island of Dominica, the first place to be hit, and then Maria is expected to move roughly along the same route as Hurricane Irma. The Prime Minister of Dominica took to Facebook as the powerful hurricane made landfall, writing, "The winds are merciless, we shall survive by the grace of God." Then, "My roof is gone. I'm at the complete mercy of the hurricane. House is flooding." Later he wrote, "I have been rescued." In the US Virgin Islands, people are battening down the hatches again.
Buildings, houses, businesses, everything is devastated.
Elsewhere in Puerto Rico, which escaped the worst 2 weeks ago, residents are stocking up on essentials as Maria is expected to intensify even further in the coming days. Sarah Corker, BBC News.
So we see how Hurricane Maria devastated the island of Dominica. And there is absolutely not much that the Caribbean islands can do in terms of hurricanes. However, they being a small island development state would always depend on other agencies to assist them. And when one has a hurricane in their country, you find that the island can move into economic depression. Hurricanes are not something to take lightly. We will now show you also what Hurricane Elsa did to Barbados. So people, we saw how Hurricane Elsa devastated Barbados. I am showing you these videos to open up your mind that we as human beings are also responsible for land slippage, for clogging of the rivers, right? We are responsible as a people for not being proactive in safeguarding our environment and protecting our environment. Yes, we can't do much about hurricanes. However, we have a responsibility not to throw plastic bottles into the rivers. We have a responsibility not to cut down trees, deforestation, because we are going to have land slippage. We also have a responsibility to ensure, especially the government of any country has the responsibility to ensure that the building code in whatever country is respected and adhered to. Because when a hurricane comes, it has no friends. And if your property is not within the building code, you are going to suffer. Hence, many people are asked during a storm within the Caribbean islands to seek shelter in a school, in a church. But I believe we as a people and as a government has the responsibility of ensuring that land development, building development is done within the code so we can save lives. Because when people build houses anywhere and do not follow the building codes, you know what is going to happen? There is going to be loss of life and property. You can lose your property and you can rebuild again. But when you lose your life because you built in a place where you should not have built, or where the government did not oversee to say, hey, our planning department didn't say, hey, you can't build there. We are in the hurricane season, and it seems like year in, year out, government come, government go. People just seems not to take hurricanes seriously, because the amount of damage that is done, it takes you like 20 years to recover. Now I'm showing you all this to wake you up, to care for your environment. Climate change is real. So I am going to show you a video from my island, St. Lucia, where somebody died last year, July, because of Hurricane Elsa. Again, we have to respect the environment. If you treat the environment good, it's going to be good to you. Take a look at this video.
Gusty winds and continuous rainfall brought the island to a standstill on Friday, July 2nd, with a full shutdown in effect from 4 a.m. as St. Lucians endured the onslaught of a fast-moving tropical cyclone, which began to affect the island around 8 a.m. Officials would issue the all-clear at 9:45 p.m. Friday, giving the nation the okay to breathe a collective sigh of relief as the system made its way into the Caribbean Sea. Tropical storm Elsa quickly intensified into a Category 1 hurricane early Friday, with powerful winds that tore rooftops off buildings and homes, felled trees, and downed utility poles and power lines. Most of the island was without power and water for hours as the storm lashed the landscape with pelting rains and howling wind gusts. News Force was on the ground and touched base with Prime Minister Alan Chasney, who was conducting early assessments with first responders Friday evening. At the time of this interview, he expressed gratitude for minimal casualties.
So far, we're not hearing any reports of any deaths. And it really is just damages to people's homes. And we want to let everybody know that we will be, over the next 72 hours, putting up cleanup crews to get things cleared as much as possible.
However, when the torrential rains and gale force winds had quieted down and officials began to evaluate the extent of the damage to property, one Forsey-Jacques family would be in the grips of grief at the loss of a loved one.
Sadly, I do have to report that there has been one fatality. A gentleman in Forsey-Jacques perished in his home. This is not the first time that this has happened at Forsey-Jacques, and so my sympathies go out to his family, and also I want to say my support to the community, and hopefully they're not overly concerned about their own safety, but I know that the district rep will be moving very quickly with the Soufriere Development Foundation and the council to make sure that he's there to give all of you the assurances you need.
Soufriere Forsey-Jacques MP Harold Stanislas also extended condolences to the bereaved via Facebook with a message that reads, quote, "Unfortunately, there was a death in my constituency. My sincere condolences to the Victor family of Forsey-Jacques," unquote. Hurriedly on the heels of the devastation wrought by Hurricane Elsa, all eyes are trained on more waves coming off the coast of Africa.
We have been advised that there is another storm that's brewing. We still cannot confirm whether it's going to come to St. Lucia, but we must prepare ourselves for that eventuality. So we'll be moving very quickly to get the country cleaned.
It should be noted that according to the Met Service's Saturday, July 3rd midday weather update, tropical cyclone development was not expected over the tropical Atlantic during the next 5 days. However, St. Lucians are urged to be prepared for any eventuality, given the forecast of a very active 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
Again, listening to this news report, I am like, oh my God. I am like, oh my God. Now, the reason why I am saying, oh my God, why did this gentleman have to die? And it brings me back to the point where I said, people are building anywhere in St. Lucia. And I'm sure this may be happening in other parts of the world and in the Caribbean. People are building anywhere. Had the authorities of St. Lucia been strict in terms of where you build, maybe this gentleman would still be alive. Now, some people are saying when it's your time to die, you die. But I do believe that some people do die before their time. We remembered when we had Hurricane Thomas and so many people died in the landslide in Forsey-Jacques. Why are people still dying? Years later, why are people still dying? It means to say that our government need to have proper policies, right? Irrespective of which government, they need to have proper policies in terms of where people build. Do we have a building code in St. Lucia? I need somebody within the planning department of St. Lucia to come and have a rap with me on my show and tell the people of St. Lucia whether they have a building code or not. And you know, it is like we do not really care for the people of St. Lucia, because we should be able to say, hey, you cannot build there because of land slippage, or if something can be done in terms of infrastructure, in terms of getting a retaining wall, a sea wall, or whatever you want to put to stop this land slippage. We have to ask ourselves, this gentleman who died, God rest his soul, whether there was a wall, whether there was a basket, whether there was a seawall or something protecting his property. And right now we are in the hurricane season. We must learn as a people, we must learn as a country to start doing things by the book. Too many people think it's okay. You know, sometimes we do things the easier way, only to cry after. Only to say, My God, had I known. Why are we still saying, had I known in 2022? We live in a tropical island. We are aware of what damages the hurricanes, the storms, the depressions do to an island. We are aware of it. These are the conversations we need to have. I know everybody wants to have a resting place to rest their head. That is fine, but at what cost? And are the ministers of government and are the officials of planning enforcing the building code? The building code is not being enforced, and I'm here today because we are expecting a system. And since we are expecting a system, we want no lives being lost. Why should we have people building in places that goes against the building code? Why is that? Something is drastically wrong. Now let me tell you something. We are a small island developing state, and we do not have the resources, the financial resources, the natural resources. All we have is sun, sand, and sea. And our greatest product is tourism. Now, if our greatest product is tourism, our country already just came from the jaws of COVID. And our country, St. Lucia, and your country too, wherever you are in the world, also came from the jaws of COVID. And everybody is trying to recover their economy. However, what we have to realize, our hurricanes, our storms, our depressions will always be there. Climate change. It is going to affect your GDP per capita, because what is going to happen? Employment is going to increase. Unemployment is going to increase when we have storms. People are going to lose jobs. Our farming will suffer. Transportation will suffer. Many things are going to suffer. So instead of just looking at it like, oh my God, it's just a hurricane, it affects every sector of your country. It affects your roads, your infrastructure, transportation. It affects your health, because you're going to find people falling sick in the event there is a shortage of water. People may have to resort to rivers or other things, and you can have people falling sick. So when you think about a hurricane, a storm, or a depression, you have to think in terms of the holistic idea of what it does. It affects your economy. And I'm going to show you, listen attentively, I am going to show you how it really affects your economy.
Maria, Irma, Harvey. The immediate impact of these powerful hurricanes was devastating. Destroyed homes, knocked out power grids, and depleted resources. So how do you measure the longer-term economic impact of a hurricane? Between 1950 and 2016, 4,597 tropical cyclones around the world passed within 100 miles of a city, affecting 3,113 cities and 132 countries or territories. New research from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, uses a complex formula to measure the economic impact of tropical cyclones. Depending on where you live, you might call a tropical cyclone a hurricane or a typhoon, but they're all the same thing. The report looks at how tropical cyclones affect something called GDP per capita, which is basically the amount of goods produced and services provided in a country divided by its population. The IMF measured the longer-term effects of tropical cyclones on GDP per capita for a period of 7 years after the storm struck. It found output was almost 1% lower than if the storm hadn't happened. Small states and islands, which are generally more exposed to tropical cyclones, had a bigger negative impact, losing 2% or more of GDP per capita. 1 or 2% may not seem like a lot, but depending on the economy, we could be talking about millions or even billions of dollars. Calculating the economic impact of these storms can be tough. There are a lot of variables to consider, like wind, precipitation patterns, and population. That's why estimates vary on how much storms affect economic growth. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration estimates that since 1980, the United States has sustained 212 weather disasters, where the overall cost reached or exceeded $1 billion. The total tab of these events combined was a whopping $1.2 trillion. And that number is sure to escalate from Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria. Initial cost estimates for Harvey in Texas are between $70 and $108 billion. Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans in 2005 had the most significant economic impact, with an estimated price tag of roughly $160 billion. Here's a chart of jobs in New Orleans in the wake of Katrina. Employment plunged right after the hurricane in September 2005. But even 10 months after the storm, the economy averaged 95,000 fewer jobs than the year before. Some of the biggest losses came from the tourism and shipping sectors. Besides job losses, a storm's impact can be measured in a range of other economic indicators. After Hurricanes Harvey and Irma, consumer confidence dipped in Texas and Florida as Americans felt less optimistic about their outlook for the economy. Storms can cause huge losses in the farming industry when crops are destroyed. And of course, property damages, transportation disruptions, and business closures all bring major economic costs. These are all reasons why economists predict GDP will drop in the aftermath of a storm. Growth often rebounds in the following quarters when reconstruction efforts get underway and states or countries receive federal aid and insurance payouts. But it still takes a long time to clean up the economic damage from a storm. Research shows that even after 20 years, a country's economy has not fully recovered from the shock. The IMF says climate change could make hurricanes even more frequent and costly in the years ahead. The report analyzed the relationship between natural disasters and changes in temperature. It found that tropical cyclones could become more common around the world as greenhouse gas emissions increase. So what can be done to mitigate some of the economic damage of these disasters? The IMF says infrastructure, like dams, seawalls, and irrigation systems, is key. A good example is the Thames Barrier. It's been credited with saving London from high tides and storm surges on multiple occasions. In Malaysia, the government built a dual-purpose tunnel that would both combat flash floods and help deal with traffic. After Katrina, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers built a $14.5 billion flood protection system in southeast Louisiana, which includes a nearly 2-mile-long, 26-foot-tall barrier visible from outer space. And while these engineering marvels better prepare a city for flooding, a bigger storm can always strike, which is why other preventative measures are also recommended, like stronger building laws, land use planning, zoning rules, or early warning systems. Spreading out the financial burden can also help countries cope. For example, 17 countries in the Caribbean have contributed to a joint insurance pool. If a hurricane, flood, or earthquake hits one of these countries, its government can tap into the fund to quickly respond in an emergency. The IMF suggests the international community can play an active role in helping countries, especially low-income nations, respond to weather shocks. It says this is part of a sound economic policy and an essential humanitarian response. Hey guys, it's Elizabeth. Thanks so
So, excuse me. So we see right here, and this is why I am teaching you and I'm showing you those videos. Hurricane systems are very devastating on the GDP of a country, right? So right now we have to be absolutely, how will I say it, frugal in terms of how we deal with natural disasters. And we heard the lady saying right? We heard her saying in her report that even 2% may seem like nothing, but it depends on your economy and it can be devastating. Now, as we all know, we do not have a diversified economy. In St. Lucia and many other Caribbean nations do not have a diversified economy. They don't. So you could imagine after a storm, 2% of your GDP has dropped. It takes like 7 years to recover, to really see a recovery. However, after 20 years, that island or that nation still is trying to reach the normal GDP. And we as a nation, St. Lucia and other Caribbean countries and throughout the world, have suffered the onslaught of COVID. And our GDP has dropped. We are faced with high bills, debt to pay all over the world, not only in St. Lucia. So this is why we need a proactive government. We cannot have the same old again. We need to be proactive, because let me tell you, when our GDP drops by 2%, small island developing states, unemployment, because it's going to affect farming, it's going to affect tourism, it's going to affect the key livelihood of us all. So the discussion have to be had. We must speak on those things that are affecting us as a people, as a nation, and as a global village. Now, she is saying, and I'm just going to explain to you when she was telling you that 17 of the Caribbean islands have come together to pool their resources for them to be able to survive or get money from those hurricane storms, depression. And Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, well, they call it CCRIF member countries. And what the Caribbean countries have come together, they have come together to pool their resources and have a insurance facility where they are able to retrieve or get monies after a storm. And on the screen, you could see all the countries that are involved in this. And happily, St. Lucia is there, because in 2010, when we had Hurricane Thomas or Tropical Storm Thomas, we got monies from CCRIF. We got monies. And it was a good thing that we are in that, so it can help us with the shock of those hurricanes. So, and also for Elsa, we got some monies from CCRIF. And these are things you need to learn. When storms come, the government is part of the insurance company that at least, cushions some of the shocks due to hurricanes. So as you can see, Anguilla is there, Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas, Barbados, and you can see the rest of the islands that are involved in this. So it is very, very, very critical. It's not a joke, people. We need to start discussing the real issues. We need to start holding our officials, holding our government responsible to ensure that the correct thing is done in terms of the people. We cannot continue like that. Now I am sure many of you are asking for some more explanation on CCRIF, right? I'm sure many of you are asking for the reason for CCRIF. And my people, I am asking you to broaden your scope, broaden your mind, so that you and I can challenge any government to do the right thing by the people. It is all well and good to say X, Y, and Z, but are they implementing policies that they have created for the betterment of us all? Small island developing states, our main main issue, our main problem is that we are not diversified. And right now, our country, St. Lucia, is at a lull. We are at a lull. Tourism is at a lull. And look, I am only finding out that we've got our first case of chicken pox from a crew member. Monkeypox from a crew member. And our health sector is not ready. Not even if you have a cut finger. We have COVID, we have monkeypox. Lord have mercy. We need a proper medical facility in St. Lucia. What are we doing in this country? So you see why I am here to discuss issues that affect you and me and globally. So if you want to understand what CCRIF really is, the objectives are, for a number of reasons, small island states, which St. Lucia is part of, have difficulty absorbing the financial impacts of disasters. You remember I said to you, the shocks of the hurricanes. It can devastate a country. And as you saw in the video I played, 2% of your GDP dropping could be millions of dollars or billions of dollars. So what are we going to do? So this is where the conversation have to be. But apparently, none of our Caribbean leaders, nobody wants to diversify the economy. So it is therefore a number of reasons small island states have difficulty absorbing the financial impact of disasters. And the reasons are limited budgetary capacity prevents them from establishing sufficient financial reserve. They have the money, they do not have the money. Cross-regional subsidization of recovery efforts is generally impossible due to their limited size and economic diversification. And this is what I just said to you. Our economy is not diversified. So what are we going to do? Government in, government out, nobody has diversified our economy. Are our leaders short-sighted? What are they doing? Okay, and we go high debt levels, limit their access to credit after disaster. So thank God for this insurance facility they have that can sort of cushion the impact, cushion the shock. Because had it not been for this, we would have been nowhere. What do we have? Nothing. Okay, they have limited access to catastrophe insurance due to the high transaction costs resulting from the relatively small level of business brought into these markets. You hear, small level of business brought into this into the various markets. So they had to come together as member countries and have this insurance in case of a storm, earthquake. They also cater to earthquake in case these things pass. So the main objective of the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CCRIF, is to provide its members with access to affordable and effective coverage against natural disaster. Now, these are the things, my people, we have to be discussing. These are the things we have to take interest in, because as a people, we have to up the level of discussion. We cannot keep the level of discussion in the gutter. We really cannot. We have to up the discussions, because if we do not up the discussion, we are going to be in serious trouble. We must up the discussion. And you know, we need to be innovative also, because look, I am here, Soraya, Alexander. I am here bringing information to you. People, you need to know how to create your own employment. Find something you are good at. Do not depend on government, because government themselves, they are lost. Go on the internet, right? Find something you are good at and start something. Do not be ashamed to start something to uplift you. Look at me here. I have my show here, and I want to thank the people who have bought me many coffees. I just got some coffees coming in, plenty coffees. I got so many coffees today because when you start something and people realize that it is authentic and good, they try to fight you down. And I'm telling you, my show, starting my show and buy me a coffee, and it is really good for you to support me because, as I said, I am coming with facts, and as you can see, my information is accurate. We do not come here with lies and deceit. So today I got many coffees overflowing, and I thank you for that. We are going to play the coffee video again for you. Support the movement. Do not fight somebody down who is doing something great. Understand the message, because the message is for us all. When you support me, I'll be able to support somebody else. So support us in the movement and buy the coffees. Take a look at the video again.
Hello everyone. Today we'll be learning how to show your support for Soraya Alexander through memberships and coffees. Okay, so first up guys, you need to keep this link in mind, buymeacoffee.com/Soraya Alexander. So let's go on and head on to the site. So of course you are greeted with Miss Alexander Buy Me a Coffee page. You'll scroll down to the bottom where you'll see support or membership. So of course the support option is to purchase your coffee. So we don't want to purchase 1, 3 or 5, we want to purchase a custom amount, so we'll put it right here and select 10. So of course for you guys who like to be anonymous, the name and say something nice option is optional to you. So if you would like to do that, you can, or do as you please. But in this case, I'm going to be entering a name and I'm going to be saying something nice. I'm going to say, love your show, keep it coming. All right, and also we know some of you have messages that you don't intend for everyone to see, so you can simply select the option make this message private. So we're going to go ahead and press the support button. On the support page you are greeted with the email and card number, so of course you go ahead, we're going to put John Doe at hotmail.com, and in this case we're going to be using a dummy card number, but in your case you'll enter your real valid card number. So of course you put your month, your year and the CVC of your card, and of course you'll select the I'm not a robot option for verification. So this is simply how you go ahead and purchase your coffee. Simple. So now guys, we're going to go ahead and get a membership. So as you could see, we have different levels of membership, so you can choose what you like, whichever one you prefer. You go ahead and select that. So you just press the join button and then you're greeted whether you want to take that membership per month or per year. So we're gonna go ahead and start filling in our details. We're gonna put our email, johndoe@hotmail.com, and in this case your name is required. So, and your email, so we're gonna go ahead and put a name. We're gonna put John Doe, and we are gonna see something nice. We're gonna see love your show. Now, like before, as we saw guys, you have the option to make this message private. So you could just go right here, tick, and that message is private. So of course you press the join, and then you go ahead and you get enter your card and so on and so on, and of course you verify that you are not a robot. Now on this page you also have the option, because I know some of you guys may want to take more than the allotted membership, so you can simply use the free option, predefined options for you, and add it 5, 10, 15, whatever as you wish. Okay, so guys, this is actually the full tutorial. This is how you go ahead and purchase your coffee. This is how you go ahead and purchase your membership. So I want to say thank you guys, thanks for watching. Hope this video was as informative as it could be. This was Akeem Ernest. See ya.
So you saw the video. I need you to support Soso buy the coffees, because we are educating you. So we can see here, right? We can see here that climate change affects our economy. We can see climate change causes our GDP to drop. We can see climate change causing us to ensure that we have proper medical facilities. We could see climate change affecting transportation. We can see climate change affecting farming. We can see climate change affecting tourism. So climate change affects us all. And now we are in the hurricane season. And my job here is to come and ensure that the powers that be, not only in my country, but all around the world and in the Caribbean, listen to us. Because if they don't listen to us, we all will suffer. Why are people dying in a country because of landslides? This cannot be right. Why are people dying? Why are people dying because of landslides? Because our government refused to enforce the building code. I prefer our government enforce the building code and lives are saved. I prefer the government enforcing the building code and lives are saved. We need to, these are the conversations we should be having. These are the conversations we need to have with the authorities. And as a people, let us elevate our level of thinking. Because when the people elevate their level of thinking, the government and policy makers are going to listen. We need to hold them accountable. We need to be outraged against things that this government and any government continues to do that is not right. People, let us come together, not for political parties. Let us come together for country, because at the end of the day, if I suffer, you're going to suffer. We all have to speak the narrative. We all have to speak the narrative of country, pushing our country forward. And remember, in the video I showed you, we have to be very careful. Right now, we have monkeypox on our island. We have monkeypox on our island brought in from foreign. And I still do not believe that our Ministry of Health is taking the necessary precaution. Look, we have carnival, people going on mate. We have calypso, everybody without mask, people. I have been saying that for 10 months. Protect yourself. Because if you do not protect yourself, who is going to protect you? Our healthcare facility, we know it's not good in this country. We know our healthcare facility is not good. When you go on the transports, on the buses, you have to be careful. You have to be careful as to how you protect you. These are the conversations we need to have. This is where are the pressure groups to pressure the government? I don't care who is in power. At the end of the day, we are the people of the nation, and we have to stand up for what is right. Thanks for all the coffees, many coffees. Remember, support me, people, because I am here to bring you truth and life. Support the movement. Get on board with SOSO. Power to you. I'm going to see you another day. Bye.
Expose lies and deceit. Expect us